the cloud. Okay, we're recording. Okay, so anyway, I just wanted to just kind of give my story, talk about like how I've gotten to where I am. And just kind of how I got started and just kind of some of the stuff I've learned along the way. I feel like I'm not super like vocal with that. Like I'll come in and hype you up. I'm an open book. Like I will share whatever y'all want to know. You know I will. I overshare. But I don't know. I've just always been more of a like keep your blinders on, behind the scenes, kind of like just keep your head down and work. But I wanted to share just a little bit about how I got going in here, some of the stuff I've learned. So just a little bit of like background info. So I came from another company, as most of y'all know. And when I first started, I really thought I was going to just be starting alone. But Corinne hopped on board. And so she's just kind of been my A1 since day one. We were with the same company. We had like the same like upline way up, but like we didn't enroll with the same people. So we were just kind of sideline sisters. But we just kind of jumped in. She came on like 2 or 3 days after I had started. And we just kind of hit it together, and like we were friends before, but we definitely got like way tighter once we made the switch, because we've just kind of grown together and like hit the ground running. I'm so done with you. I could like see her. Sorry, I get so distracted. But okay, so when I first started, I started strong. Okay, like I hit my VIPs, I want to say my first week, like literally before, yeah, it was like 3 days. Hit my VIPs, went 4K, went 12K, and that was all within like the first, I want to say month and a half. Am I right? Yeah. So, gosh, that feels like it's been ages. Yeah, my first month. Okay, like, and I was like feeling myself a little bit because I didn't win like that where I came from. Like it was just like unheard of, right? So I was working full time. I was working at a gym. I was the operations manager. I had crazy hours. But I was like committed, right? I was like, okay, I went from like I'm interested to okay, I'm committed. But I'm not even gonna front. Life happened, and I didn't really know how to plan with everything else going on. Like I just kind of made it a like commitment to myself, like okay, I'm showing up today. Like I don't care that I'm getting up at 4 a.m. and going to work. I have to be there by 5. I don't care like that I'm super busy. I don't care that me and Tucker just moved in together a couple months ago and like we're engaged and whatever. I don't care that I have a wedding to plan, whatever. Like I'm showing up. So I did, and like I was making it happen. I was consistent, whatever. And then just like it always does, life hit, and I just was so overwhelmed. I was burnt out. There was so much going on. There were chats on chats on chats. There were like so many just extra things to keep up with, and I was like, y'all, I'm barely floating. Like I don't know how to show up for myself, let alone to show up for this massively growing team. Like it took off. Like I couldn't keep up at all. And so like I am kind of hitting this like, okay, like I'm showing up. It's not as hard, but I'm knocking out my daily tasks. I'm doing it on my time, whatever. And I had been like literally in my first few, I want to say like 2 weeks, I was thrown into like leadership roles and chats and whatever else. And I was like, okay, like here we go, whatever, like feeling it, feeling myself. But then like, I'm not even going to lie, like life just happened. Like it was holiday time. I was sick all the time. I was trying to figure out like what the heck are we doing for like our wedding stuff. I was turning 26 in March. I was about to get kicked off my insurance. So I was like, okay, do we bump up our wedding? Do we just plan it out and I go without insurance? No, can't do that because I'm sick all the freaking time, like whatever. So I was really just like getting lost, honestly. And I really had to start navigating what it looked like to show up, and not only for myself, but like for my team. And it was just like a lot of things happening. And I remember one day I was sitting at work, I was at the desk. It was like in between camps. They do like boot camps, classes, whatever, where I was working, and it was in between. And I saw that I was like removed from one of those like leader chats. And like, y'all know, like I'm a Pisces, I'm sensitive. And I was like, oh dang. And like immediately my anxiety hit. I was like, I'm not showing up. I'm not enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not like, nothing was enough. And I remember like kind of freaking out. And Courtney, my friend, that's who I signed up with, she messaged me like pretty soon after, and she was like, hey, I know you have a lot going on. I know you have this. I know you have that. I know, and she's like listing all the things. And she's like, so I know like there are certain things that like you just can't show up for the way you want to, and that's okay. And I was like, oh God, like I literally, like my mind went in a funk. Like I was like, oh dang, like I'm failing everyone. Like that's what I thought. I literally was like, I'm failing. And that was my mindset. And y'all, when I say I slipped into like a funk, like it was going down. Like I not only was having all this life happening, I started getting inconsistent. I started, isolating. I started like really retreating from people. Like I stopped talking to people all the time. I was way less vocal in the chats. I shut down. Now I didn't like quit, I was still showing up behind the scenes with my girls here and there. Like I'd do some one-on-ones. When I could, I was still, taking my products. I was still showing them on my story. I was still bringing in, customers here and there. I did this like big, basically like it was a cool little promo that some of the other leaders, I had seen them do it, like I was still duplicating what I saw. But I was in a completely different place mentally. I was just super anxious. My feelings were hurt. And I recoiled and I lost motivation, and I just felt left behind. And I felt like it was because I was showing up in a way that wasn't the way that people wanted me to. And I felt like that wasn't fair. And so I went through that funk. I was like, look, I don't have to show up for this a certain way. Like, I don't do this full time. I don't stay at home all day. I don't, you know what I mean? I was like coming up with all the reasons why I was not showing up a certain way. And I was like, that shouldn't be what, tells me that I'm not doing enough or whatever. You know what I mean? And so I started like getting in my head. It's manifesting. I'm getting frustrated. I feel like my value has decreased. And like that was something like deep for me, right? I just felt like I wasn't enough. And I really did half-ass everything. Like I was half-assing it in the chats. I was half-assing it in my posts. I just felt so unmotivated because I was like, I'm not trying to like, step on toes and cause any drama and talk about how I'm really feeling, but I'm not going to fake it till I make it like I did with my last company. And so I was like, but like, and these things also shouldn't really bother me, but you know what I mean? So I shut down, and it was so bad. And I'm not even joking. Like I wallowed in self-pity for like a good month at least. And I remember like I would have conversations with Corinne, because like we're tight. And like literally the first month it was a lot of just like, okay, like dang, what did I do wrong? Like am I really doing that bad? And then it turned into like, I just feel like I'm not enough. And I'm not kidding, like I felt like this for literally 2 months. Like And but the 1 month, it like really, like I could see it affecting my paychecks. I could see it affecting my relationships. I could feel it, like it was just negative, and I hated that. I despised that. I'm normally not one to like even entertain that crap. Like I just, oh, I was so miserable. It was bad. But I processed it. I vented. I took whatever time. I had to have the realization that like it starts with me. And when yeah, we did. We talked a lot. Like we were processing all the time. Poor Corinne was probably like, "Oh God, here we go again." But I had to process a lot because I still see all these things happening, and I felt like they were happening without me. I didn't know how to like jump back in. I felt lost. Like I really did. I felt like I didn't have anyone teaching me anymore. I felt like I didn't have those same resources that I had when I started. And I was like, what do I do? So, I did. I had to like process. I had to have some of those hard conversations with Corinne. And then I had to realize like and like Tucker, God bless him, he would be hearing about this like every night. And oh my gosh, Corinne doesn't shave my back. She has my back. Typo for those of you in the chat. I'm sorry. So and I would talk to Tucker, and Tucker is like even more low key than me. Like I like to be involved. I like to build relationships. Tucker, just as a side note, is like head down, strictly behind the scenes, like doesn't want any like hype, nothing. He doesn't want a gold star for showing up and working hard. Like he just wants to help people and get it done and go home. That's just like how the work mentality is in this household. And so he was like, who cares? And I was like, I care, like all offended. And he's like, no, seriously, who cares if you're not in a certain chat or if you're not like whatever? He was like, what do those actually do for you? And I was like, well, it's just like a good resource. And blah, blah, blah. And he was like, no, okay, but what are you learning? And I was like, okay, you're right. Like, like I didn't mean it in like, okay, this is useless, because it's not. Like it was a good resource, but like I could still have what I needed to succeed without that chat. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you're right. I don't need to let that bother me. Okay, next. And then he was like, okay, now you need to think about, who are you doing this for? And I was like, okay, you right. Like this isn't for anyone but us. Like this is for our family and the people whose lives were changing as they come into this and to hit certain goals. And he was like, yeah, and like, is Courtney your boss? And I was like, no. And he was like, then don't lick her butthole and act like she's your boss. Like don't kiss her ass. Don't sit here and try to please her. Like you show up how you can show up, and that's that. And I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. And I had to take a step back and realize that like Courtney wasn't to blame either. You know what I mean? Like she saw where I was overwhelmed. She had told me, here's where you need to start planning. And like I didn't really have, like I wasn't able to fully figure out like what planning looked like for me until I did trial and error and until I figured that out. But like she gave me that space to figure it out. She gave me the grace and space to go through that time and pull myself out, because it's not her responsibility to get my ish together and like pull me up by my bootstraps and be like, all right, come on, show up to work. Like that's not her role. Her role is to give me the tools and whatever information I need to succeed. It's up to me to decide that I'm committed to that and I'm going to show up, and I'm not doing this for anybody but, me and my family. And I'm not here to people please, and it's not about like pleasing whoever is above you, because I mean, quite frankly, who does that affect? Like, and I think it's so funny because sometimes I'll bring new girls in and they'll be like doing things and like almost need me to affirm them or like give them approval, and I'm like, girl, you don't need me for that. Like that's not up to me. I don't get to give you a stamp of approval. You know what I mean? Because, like, that's not up to me. Like, I'm not your boss. Like, you're doing this for you. And I really had to take a step back and realize, like, who am I doing this for? Who do I actually need in order to be successful in this industry? Like, what are the tools that I actually need to go? And what is a distraction? And what is, like, who is coming with me? You know what I mean? It's not about who I'm going with, it's about who is coming with me. And so hold on, let me make sure I'm staying on track. I wrote my thoughts down because y'all know how I get. But yeah, I was just like, I had to have that mental, just like check myself moment, just to like tell myself, you know, like, I'm still a part of a really amazing team. I still have really amazing leaders. I'm still plugged into that. I'm still able to utilize that. I'm still able to be a part of that. And it has nothing to do if I'm like sitting here in this chat, or if I'm doing this, or if I'm doing, like, it has nothing to do with that extra stuff, because guess what? That's not what's making my money. And so I had to really think about it, and I had to realize what showing up looks like now, because I'm not showing up for the people who came first. I'm showing up for me and the people that are coming with me. I have people relying on me. I have people who, you know, need my help and my guidance. And what a disservice it was for me to shut down and isolate and like make it all about me, because it wasn't. Like, and this whole thing isn't about the people who went before me. It's about the people that I'm doing this for, who are coming with me, who come after me. A lot of the times I'll hear like leaders be like, I went first so that you can come next, like, so I can bring you with me. And I'm like, dang, that's so accurate. And so, like, I'm going to be honest, like, I really wasn't interested in sharing this part of my journey, because, like, I didn't want to step on any toes. I didn't want to, you know, try to somehow like shift that onto Courtney and make it her problem, because it's not. It was a me thing. I didn't want to have like conversations about it, because it was up to me to pull myself out of that. Like, my relationships and how I respond to my circumstances, that's a me decision. You know, that's something that I have to take responsibility for. I can't control what they do. I can't control if somebody, you know, takes me out of a chat, or thinks that I have too much on my plate, or thinks that, and, you know, I know she did that in a way to help me, but that's a me responsibility. Like, if I need to determine how to show up, like, that's a me decision. But I did. I let my mind take over, and I was embarrassed about it. And I let that affect me and my business. It affected my paychecks. It affected how I was showing up. It affected how I felt about myself. And I was like, my value, like, I just take a step back and reframe it, and, you know, tell myself, like, my value doesn't depend on that. My value has nothing to do with that. My value depends on, you know, me and my character and what I'm taking responsibility for and what I'm taking ownership for. And I needed to be responsible for leading my team and helping them. I needed to commit to that. I needed to know who I do this for. And I needed to not be distracted by things like that. Like, when I really like took a step back, yeah, we have chats to do like promos and giveaways and whatever, but if it's just like a bunch of chatter all the time, and it like is just like, that's me wasting time. You know what I mean? And I don't have time to waste. I for damn sure didn't have time to waste when I was working full time, but I still don't have time to waste. I'm ending my days tired. So why would I add something else to my plate that's not an income producing activity? You know what I mean? Like, I had to take that out. And I think another important thing that I learned from that like whole situation, is that I I have to take my emotions out of it. Like, I know that this business is so personal, because it's so related to your life holistically. It's related to your money, it's related to your family, it's related to why you do this. Like, it's related to you touching other people's lives. And so, yeah, there's a lot of like personal involved. But it has nothing to do with your feelings, and it's not what determines your value. And so, that was another thing. Like, I just have to keep my business drama free. That's it. Like, that is it. And, like, for me, yes, I'm interested in sharing this part of my story now, but I wasn't, because I'm only interested in moving forward, you know? And I have done so. I have learned from it. So like, yeah, now I can look back and share it. But during that time, I wasn't about to get on here and be like, listen, y'all, they took me out of the chat. They hurt my feelings. Like, because that's not productive. Like, that's drama. So like, yeah, I had to process that and process my feelings. And like, shout out to Corinne for like helping me through that and helping me reframe what that means, because she was like, girl, we don't need that. Like, we don't need them. Like, look at what we've produced. Look at what we've already built. And then like June came around, and like, okay, I'm red legged. I don't know if y'all all know what that means, but I'm red legged. But our team volume as a whole was 106 in thousand. Okay, that's half of 200K. Like, this team is half of 200K already, and it hasn't been a year. And we did that. Like, we don't have people building us. We don't have people placing different, like, whoever they enrolled under us. Like, this is self-made, y'all. So why the heck would I be looking for approval from somebody else when we did that, like, on our own? Like, that's crazy. And like, y'all, that hyped me up, and I was like, dude, you're so right. Like, we are building that. And then, another thing that, like, I mean, I feel like it's very well known, but I'm gonna just like throw it out there, because this was at a point where like I moved on. My mind was in the right place, and I was shooting for 40K, and Corinne was shooting for 40K. And guess what? Corinne enrolled under me, but she hit it first. And I didn't let that like take away from me. That wasn't a loss. That was a big ass win. Like, that hyped me up, because like, again, we did that, y'all. Like, that's hype. And like, I remember I had people asking me like, well, does that make you feel some type of way or whatever? Was that weird? And I'm like, no, because my head's in the right place, and I know that we're going to like continue that. And I see our whole team volume. I see where we're at. Like, let's go. And then she went 80K, and I'm freaking hyped, because I know where we stand. And like, I'm red legged. Again, I'll say it. I'm red legged. I'm red legged. And guess what? It's not a problem, because I saw where we ended our month. Like, I saw that we ended halfway to 200K. So like, if my wheel didn't move because I need to level that out on other sides, I don't give a damn, because I'm going to have 18 more Corinnes on my team, and we all go into the top. You know what I mean? So like, don't sit in some comparison trap and be like, oh, dang, I suck because someone under me went first. Like, hell no. Corinne has been working her ass off, okay? And she has been here since day one, putting in work. And like, what do you think that did to her when I went through my funk? I'm her upline, y'all, but she was still there. She gave me the space to figure it out. And she was like, listen, Linda, I love you, but like, I'm still working. I'm still going anyway. And she did, because like, nothing's coming between her and her paper. And I had to learn that lesson when my paycheck got low. And I was like, well, dang, like, what the heck are you doing, letting your feelings affect your money? But no, for real, it was like, I love this analogy. It's like, you're in the car and you're going, and you're like, yeah, sis, I got room. Like, I'll come around and pick you up. And like, I wasn't ready to go right then. And she's like, I love you. I'll be back. So she kept it moving, and she circled back around and like picked me up when I was ready. You know what I mean? Like, you're not left behind, but like, you have that space to figure it out on your own. But that's the thing. You have to figure it out on your own. It is your responsibility to pull yourself out. Like, no one's coming to save you in this industry. It's you versus you. And that's a good thing. But yeah, I just like, I had to realize that my organization is about building people up. It's drama free. It's teaching people how to do it. It's self-made. It's not entitlement. It's not Corinne being like, okay, look, like I'm pushing for this. Can you put so and so under me? Like, no, like, no, go build your business yourself. Like, and she never did that. I'm not saying she did that, but like, I'm just saying, like, in this industry, you're not entitled to anything. It is up to you to grow. Now, if you get some help here and there along the way, like, praise Jesus and like be grateful, but like, you can't rely on the people above you to do it for you. You can't rely on anyone but you to pull you out of your headspace. And you have to do the work, and you have to have that mind shift. And please, for the love of God, don't take 2 months like I did. Like, now I'm like, I might vent for a day and then we're going to keep it moving, because I don't have time to let it get between me and my goals, and me and my check, and me and my success, and me impacting other people. I don't have time for that, y'all. You have to learn boundaries. You have to know what is leaking onto you. You have to learn just how to get out of that headspace. And like, I think one of the biggest things I can say is that like isolating and just going off the grid is like one of the worst things you can do, because then you got to humble yourself even more and come back like, okay, I'm ready to go. And like, y'all, that was a shame. Like, that was hard for me, because I'm not the kind of person who likes to admit when she's wrong and when she needs to get her ish together. But like, I had to pull myself out of that, and I had to change my mindset, but it was up to me. And you know, now it's I don't know, I felt like I was ready to share it now, because I want y'all to know me. I want y'all to know that it's not all gonna be like rainbows and butterflies and you just shoot to the top and it's easy peasy and whatever, but like, it can be simple. You can set those boundaries. You can say, okay, like, I'm done talking about it. Let's just freaking go. Because I remember the day I texted Corinne and I was like, okay, literally, I'm done talking about this. Like, let's go. Like, let's go. And like, we haven't stopped. Like, this team has not stopped. And I've been pushing myself to get out of my comfort zone. I've been hyping people up, even though I know I sound ridiculous. I've been like putting myself out there on the Zooms. I've been planning stuff, you know, because I want to be all in. I show my emotions more. Like, y'all don't catch me crying just yet, but like, I'm in here. But yeah, I felt like I want y'all to know me. I want y'all to learn from that experience. And I just, you know, I want to express my gratitude to have had the grace and space to go through that without somebody like yelling at me, asking like, well, are you going to show up or not? Like, are you going to, you know, you're not enough, like, you're not doing enough, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, that would have made me like chuck up the deuces and quit. So to have had the grace and space to like go through it and figure that out and learn that, like, that was one of the best things that happened to me. Like, that's the best thing that could have happened to my business, because it taught me to be independent. It taught me to pull myself out of that. It taught me, you know, you have to bulletproof yourself from the unnecessary, like, whatever going on, like, on the sidelines. There's always going to be distractions, and like, that stuff just doesn't matter. What matters is that you're making an impact on people, and that you're helping people, and that you're putting them before yourself, and that you're showing up not only for yourself, but for your team. You're here for your girls, you're leading your people, and you're just keeping it like focused. So I don't know, I'm just like, I'm so thankful for just that whole experience, for it not being all perfect, for my leaders not building me, for not letting me think that I'm entitled to their help, for, you know what I mean? Because this is self-made, and that is something to be proud of. Like, when you get to the top, do you want to be like, damn, I did that? Or do you want to be like, yeah, we made it. Thanks, Mom, for bringing me. Like, no, that's embarrassing. Like, and how are you going to duplicate that? You're not. So, like, get pumped. Like, be excited. Oh my God, Corinne. I'm done with you. But like, just know that like, you can come back from the setbacks. You can come back from those hard times. You can come back from the hard lessons that like hit you in your gut, but it is up to you to do it. I couldn't rely on anyone to get me out of that negative mindset and that funk. Like, I had my support system, I had my people there to like listen and help me process and be like, okay, how can we reframe this? What can you learn from it? Okay, what are we doing now? But it wasn't anyone else's responsibility but mine. I couldn't rely on that. And I had that space and grace to figure it out, and I had the support to come back to. But I like, the main thing is that it starts with you. And that's it. Like, that's the tea. That's all I got because I don't know. That's just what it comes down to. And it's what I took from it. And it's what I hope y'all take from it. Like, I really hope that it's not like like, okay, but like, what else happened behind the scenes? Like, what was this chat? Cause like, that's irrelevant. Like, I'm not even gonna divulge, but like, y'all know what I'm saying? Like, it starts with you and it ends with you. And like, you just have to put it in perspective. Like, who am I showing up for? And I felt so much more called to show up when I really realized, like, okay, I'm doing this for this team. I'm doing this for, the people who are looking up, like, where you at? You know what I mean? And it matters. Like, and literally, like, as soon as I got my ish together, like, hey, my paychecks went back up. Like, my girls, like, were winning. Like, Morgan went 4K. Like, you know what I mean? Corinne went freaking 80K. Like, we all, like, we're back in it. That momentum was back. And you can get it back. You can make a comeback. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's so much just simpler when you're just all committed. You're all in, and you're just committed to your growth from the get-go. And you don't let those things distract you. But it's just, it all starts with you. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh my God. Corinne, you are not right. This is so funny. But no, for real, that's pretty much all I have. I just wanted to, share that with you and like let y'all know me a little more, let y'all know like it hasn't always been this like perfect happy-go-lucky journey. And like, I know a lot of people a lot of times are like, gosh, you're so positive, like you always know how to spin it in a better light and this and that. And I'm like, yeah, because I got to do that for myself. Like, it's not easy, but what good is it gonna do to sit here and like wallow? Like, that just like is toxic and it ruins everything else in your life. So learn from it and like just keep growing and keep going. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for getting on and letting me give my spiel. If y'all ever have like questions or need help with whatever, let me know. But I don't know. There's been a lot of things I've had to learn, a lot of things I had to unlearn. And like, I'm just here to pour into y'all and help you learn as I learn. Like, I'm not always gonna get it right, but I just wanted to share that with y'all. Mariana, you're so cute. You're so welcome. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and that's it. Y'all have an awesome night. I'm gonna stop the recording now. Bye.